the planner coming tonight? Do you know? Is the planner coming tonight?
No.
No.
Wow, only
Yeah.
because.
What's the changes from last time?
Where's the camera? It's right here. It's fine. I'll deal with the camera.
We're right with the room, right? You found the other one? Okay.
It's not my Steve.
How are you? Good, how's everybody? How are you? You good?
Good.
Okay,
We're live?
yes.
Good. All right, I'm Tom McKay, the Vice Chair of the Hainesport Joint Land Use Board. I'm subbing today for Harold Crow Pfeiffer, who is the Chair, who's unable to be here. We'll have a call to order. It is 6:34 PM, and following that, we'll do a flag salute. All right. We comply with the Sunshine Law. May I have a reading of the Sunshine Law for this meeting?
Notice of this meeting was published in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act.
All right. There will be no new business after 10:30 PM. That is, no new business will start after 10:30 PM. This is a standing order that we follow at every meeting. Paula, would you make an announcement with regard to the June and July meetings, which are not being held on the typical first Wednesday of every month?
The June meeting will be held Thursday, which is June 6th at 6:30 PM. The July meeting will be held the second week in July on a Thursday, which is July 11th at 6:30 PM. Please take note.
All right, everyone should take note of those different dates for the meetings. Can I have a roll call, please?
Mrs. Torti.
Here.
Mrs. Kelly.
Here.
Mayor Gilmore.
Here.
Mr. Tricoci. Here. Mrs. Baggio, absent. Mr. Murphy. Here. Ms. Costco.
Here.
Mr. Bradley.
Here.
Mr. Novarita.
Here.
Mr. Holden.
Here.
Mr. Kroll Pfeiffer, absent. And Mr. McKay.
Here. All right, we have one item of new business to do tonight, aside from resolutions that we will hold and correspondence that we will hold at the end. So this should be a relatively brief meeting because our agenda is limited. The first matter that I'll ask council to instruct us on is the consistency review of ordinance 2024-8, which is an ordinance to repeal and replace certain Hainesport ordinances regarding affordable housing.
This is the affordable housing ordinance, which has been, I believe, adopted on first reading by the township governing body, and the task of the land use board is to confirm that it complies with or it's consistent with the land use law, and whether you have any suggestions for changes or additions.
Right. Before I take a vote, does any member of the board wish to address the new ordinance? We're not passing it, we're simply commenting that it is consistent with our development objectives.
Might I ask if this has been reviewed by the township committee prior to us looking at it?
I think the clerk can answer.
Sure, so absolutely, it's already been through first reading
Okay.
of the governing body, and myself, our solicitor, our affordable housing planner, and fair share housing, as part of our compliance and our settlement agreement, went through many iterations of this Chapter 44. It is a very long document, but the housing element and fair share plan is pretty much, you guys have already reviewed that, the governing body has already passed it, and this is an element of our requirements for our compliance. There are some changes to it, but the governing body has reviewed it.
Okay, thank you, Paul.
I have a question. The municipal housing liaison, is that Paula?
That is me.
Okay, and then who is the administrative assistant? Is there one?
The administrative agent,
Is it an agent? Okay, agent.
that is CGP&H, who is also our affordable housing planner.
Okay,
So
okay.
the administrator, or the affordable housing agent is who ensures, I'll say compliance, but the 39 units, the sale units, they're the ones who ensure that people are income qualified, they ensure that the deed restriction that's placed on those homes is followed when they're sold. They manage the actual affordable housing sale units that we have in the community.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions? All right, because this is a little unique, I'm going to advance the agenda and just open this to public comment. And there's only 2 people that I see in the audience. I'm going to open it to public comment. This public comment is limited only to this particular ordinance that we have before us. So are from either of the 2 people, any public comment? Seeing both of them shake their head indicating no, I'm accepting that there is no public comment from the limited.
Okay.
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry, I
We
forgot
have
we, all
one member of the public online.
right. Would that member just unmute if they want to speak, and if not, we'll understand that they don't have a comment. All right, they haven't unmuted, so we accept that they don't have a comment for that reason. So can I have a motion to adopt this ordinance, or this proposed ordinance?
You're adopting the resolution supporting the ordinance.
Right, okay. We have a resolution, and I can read it to you. Hang on, not the whole thing, but we have a resolution which will be 2416, approving administrative amendment
And you want
Oops.
2418.
2418. It's a resolution adopting findings and recommendations to the Hainesport Township Committee following review of ordinance 2024-8 entitled Affordable Housing. So that's the resolution. Can I have someone offer that resolution for approval?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Can we have a roll call, Paula?
Mr. Bradley?
Yes.
Mrs. Torti?
Yes.
Mrs. Kelly?
Yes,
Mayor Gilmore?
Yes.
Mr. Tricocci? Yes. Mr. Murphy? Mrs. Costco?
Yes.
Mr. Novarita? Yes. And Mr. McKay?
Yes. Okay. The next order of business on our agenda will be the minutes of the January 17, 2024 meeting.
I make a motion that we accept and file the minutes of the January 17th meeting.
Mrs. Kelly, you were not here at that meeting.
Oh, okay.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Okay? Mrs.
All right.
Twitty?
Yes.
Ms. Cosco?
Yes.
Mayor Gilmore?
Yes.
Mr. Tricoci? Mr. Bradley?
Yes.
And Mr. Novarita?
All right. Minutes are adopted. We have resolutions. We have 3 resolutions on the agenda. 2024-16, 17, and 18.
And we've already done 2024-18.
We've already done 2024-18, yes. So 16 will be the next one. This is a resolution approving administrative amendment to the subdivision plan of Hainesport Urban Renewal for a fence installation, Block 42, Lot 1,05.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. Do we have a second? Roll call?
Ms. Cosco?
Yes.
Mr. Novarita? Mrs. Twitty?
Yes.
Mrs. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Bradley?
Yes.
Mr. Holding? Yes. And Mr. McKay?
Yes. Now, the next resolution, and the last for today, is Resolution 2024-17. It's a resolution memorializing a decision on Ewing Auto Recycling LLC, which I believe is the dealership on Route 38, as we will recall.
No, that's.
Actually, it's on Hainesport Mount Laurel Road.
Is that Hainesport Mount Laurel Road?
Yes,
Yes.
the.
Okay, that's the old Red Cross
Right.
Auto, okay. Getting my names mixed up. So this is the appeal of the zoning officer's decision on continuation of non-conforming use permitting auto sales, and the board allowed the auto sales to continue on the non-conforming use, as I recall. So can I have a motion to adopt Resolution 2024-17?
So moved.
Second?
I apologize. The ones who can vote on that is Mrs. Twitty, Ms. Cosco, Mr. Novarita, and Mr. Holden. I need it first.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second now. So roll call, please.
Mrs. Twitty?
Yes.
Ms. Cosco?
Yes.
Mr. Novarita? And Mr. Holden?
Now we have correspondence. Unless there is some particular correspondence that the board wishes to discuss, and we're happy to do so, but if not, then could we have a motion to receive and file the correspondence A through K?
I make a motion that we receive and file the correspondence A through K.
May I have a second on that?
Second.
Roll call?
Mrs. Kelly?
Yes.
Mayor Gilmore?
Yes.
Mrs. Twitty?
Yes.
Mr. Tricoci? Yes. Mr. Murphy? Ms. Cosco?
Yes.
Mr. Bradley?
Yes.
Mr. Novarita? And Mr. McKay?
Yes. Next on our agenda is time for any professional comments. Having only our solicitor here, do we have any comments from?
I have no comment.
Now we have item 11 for board comments. Are there any board comments that the board would like to raise at this time? Hearing,
If I could just make a note with regards to correspondence G, it does say in the title, proposed warehouse. I just wanted for the record, for the board and public to know that this is as indicated for a performance bond release, which can't be done until the project is complete, deemed complete by our professionals. That is a completed warehouse. That's not a proposed warehouse.
yeah, Blue Water is, and again,
It's
I'll be
existing.
corrected, but that's Marne Highway.
Correct.
And I must say that that is one very nicely designed and landscaped structure. From my point of view, I know there were some residents that were concerned about the size of that and where it is, and they may still hold those opinions, I don't know, but as one member and citizen, I just think that that job was really nicely developed, and it's actually a nice addition to that corner, which is, busy corner.
Does that warehouse have a tenant?
No.
Not yet.
Neither do the two on Route 30 in Lumberton, actually the three in Lumberton, the two on 38 and the one on the bypass.
There seems to be a great appetite for warehouses, though, so I would think that it would. All right, we now have public comment, item 12. Are there any public comments? Yes, ma'am, please come up and give us your name and where you live in town, and
Good evening, Deborah Playa, 50 Bancroft Lane.
all right, what would you like to address to us tonight in public
Well,
comment?
I'm here on item J, correspondence that was received. I have an objection. I don't know whether or not you want to hear me this evening, because I know that the R&M will at some point be seeking a hearing on their easement request. So I don't know if you want to hear my objection tonight, given the fact that it's not represented.
Well, it's not that we don't want to hear your objection, but I'm not sure that your objection will do any good in this body. I think, and I'll ask our solicitor to confirm this, I think this matter is in litigation.
This, I consider this to be a township matter. The township attorney is not here to respond, and I don't think it's appropriate for the board to consider any comments about a matter that's in litigation when the attorney handling that litigation is not here.
Yeah,
I don't think it should be discussed.
yeah,
What I can tell you is that I'm not sure what litigation you're talking about, but I do know of my own knowledge that Creekview Homeowners Association had filed suit against R&M, but that lawsuit resolved in April of 2022. And there's a settlement agreement that was filed back in 2 years ago now.
all right.
So I don't know whether or not there's any new litigation.
Yours.
I may have misspoken,
Grant anything.
but yeah, we can't,
He's talking about.
the matter has moved from this board, and while, we could hear your comments tonight, it just won't serve any purpose.
Okay, well, I'm not gonna waste your time then, but I will just let you know, I did submit a packet, a letter with exhibits, and gave everybody hard copies, so you can take a look at it at your leisure.
And we appreciate that, and, I trust you've sent it to Township Committee, because that's where it ought to be.
Well, it's interesting. I did go in front of them, and they said that it would be more appropriate in front of the land use board. So
Well,
that's why I'm here tonight, so,
Our counsel suggests otherwise.
yeah, so,
So
well,
we'll-
in any event, it's, whether both the committee and you guys are aware of my objection, so, and if there's ever a hearing by R&M, I'll make my objection at that point.
We are, and you know what I'll do? I'll ask our township clerk to mark your submission to us as a new item L under correspondence for this
I appreciate
evening,
that. Thank you.
and we'll receive it and file it along with the other correspondence.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Have a good night.
Paula, can you
Yeah, I did that already.
take care of that? Thank you. Is there any other public comment? Yes, please come forward. Give us your name and where you live.
Good evening, Deborah Harris, 7 Elsinore Drive. So I rise tonight and go on the record and make a record in support of what is now apparently Exhibit L, yes?
Exhibit L is
The letter from Deborah Playa.
Deborah Playa dated April 28, 2024.
So for the record, I am also an attorney. My specialty is criminal and corporate law. Insert your laugh here. So I do support this objection, and I'd like to enter for the record my own objection to an easement for this particular development, and as well, any type of procedural votes that would move this forward. Obviously, you haven't had a chance to read Ms. Playa's letter, so I won't duplicate what she said. But as an attorney, I would support fully her legal arguments. In her statement about the Shark case law, that is relevant case law, and it should be noted by this committee in terms of its seriousness for ramifications, financial ramifications for the township in the form of litigation, which the cost of litigation cannot be contracted away, other potential obligations for maintenance, potentially of a pipe if that was to move forward. So she presents a lot of excellent arguments, and as a resident, I'd like to, again, make my on-the-record support for her letter and her statements, and my objection for this easement overall. Thank you.
You're here speaking on your own behalf.
I am on my own behalf. I am a resident,
we
but I
are-
happen to also be an attorney.
Right, I just wanted to clarify that you're not here also on behalf of any client.
I do not represent any clients that have any interest in this matter. I rise solely on my own objection as a resident.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh.
Thank you.
Are there any other people in attendance that wish to make a public comment? Anyone on the line who's watching on the computer wish to make any public comment? If no one unmutes, we will assume you have no comment to make.
Nope.
No one has unmuted, and no one from the audience has raised their hand. So at this point, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Meeting is adjourned. Thank you all.